Hey guys, Larry Chen here. We got my buddy Justice here.
Howdy.
We are at Hoonigan Racing Division, or now it's called something else, right? It's
Blockhouse Racing.
Blockhouse Racing, there you go. So I'm here in Utah this weekend because I'm racing at Utah Motorsport Campus, and I figured I'd stop by here. I haven't been here in so many years. I don't actually remember the last time I was here, but what's crazy to me, like I'm getting this, I'm getting chills because it's like stuck in time.
Yeah.
Nothing has changed.
Yeah. So I do like I did all the content with Ken for a few years before he passed, and then I do all the content for the family now since his passing. And a big thing of what we do is just trying to, keep everyththing the way that it was. I guess not restore it, but what's the word? Preserve it.
Right.
Yeah, so if you come in here, it's kind of like a little time capsule. You still see the Hoonigan Racing Division, even though it's obviously changed. And some of the stuff might change over time, but for now, it's cool to come in and see exactly what it was and still get that same feeling.
Yeah, so I've been here so many times for so many different reasons, right? So we've come here to do shoots. We did a shoot on his Supra, which is a boat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've done a bunch of testing, all sorts of different things. We've shot so many different times. It's been a couple years, and might as well come here and look in depth at some of the memorabilia, some of the things that he's collected. You can probably walk us through some of the more recent things and I guess what's going on with Blockhouse Racing. Largely, in terms of the offices and the main area, nothing has been changed. Nothing's been touched.
Yeah, I think for the most part, like you'll go into the offices, and the offices have been decorated a little bit differently because now there are different people that rent out the spaces and stuff. But overall, the aura, I guess, of this place has largely remained the same, which is great. It's cool to come in and like you walk in and you feel like you're with Ken, you know?
Yeah, so one of the things that really stands out to me, of course, are all the trophies. A lot of them, I was very lucky to be there when he earned these trophies. But a lot of them, he's racing so much and he's doing so many rallies. Oh, this is really neat. This was my last magazine cover. I think I've shot so many magazine features, but in terms of a magazine cover, this one is the last one. And these are your covers, right?
Yep, those are my covers.
So then look at us. How cool is that?
We are big ballers.
Yeah. I don't really shoot that much for print besides 000 magazine, so it's always cool to be able to contribute in this kind of way. And this, of course, was an honor for me. Was this Death Spray?
Yeah, this is Death Spray, and it goes with this Kazi right here.
And then this is the like kit that was part of the release, the fuel canister, the jack, and then also the toolbox.
Which just goes to show you like how much Ken thought about, because obviously nobody even sees this except for anyone that comes in here, which is not that many people. And yet he still had it made up that way so that it was like, it's like a full package deal. It's cool.
Right. We got a bunch more trophies up here. A hood from, I don't even know what car, but it looks like it was a WRC car. 2010 WRC Mexico shoes. How cool is that? It's funny to me because these are the things that I wouldn't even think to save. Old shoes, but for somebody like Ken, a lot of this stuff is very sentimental to him. This is cool. I love how well displayed this is, and also how much it adds to the atmosphere of this place. Gymkhana 3-wheel, Rally 100 Acre Wood, Gymkhana 4 from 2011. This was one of the first major projects that I worked with Ken on.
Were you part of Gym 3?
No, I wasn't on Gym 3.
Okay.
First one was Gym 4.
That's dope.
This area was always interesting for me when I was coming here. It's the kitchen, but these tiles, for those of you guys who don't know, were made from skate decks that were all cut up. Wonder where they got all these skate decks.
Yeah, I'm curious because I feel like, I don't know, it could have been the DC boys,
Yeah.
but you've got like Enjoy. You've
That
got a lot
makes
of different
sense.
skate brands in here, so.
All of the tiles here were skate decks. It's cool. These were cut a little differently, a little longer. What was also interesting to me was seeing the monster fridges. I'm assuming these haven't been filled in a while.
Yeah, the last time I was here, they were filled up. I think we've got some in the back that we probably just need to refill.
Got
it. But they still send drinks that, as far as I know.
Nice.
Which is cool.
This is probably one of my favorite rooms, if not my favorite room here. Is this under Ken's office?
Yep.
Kind of, right? This is like the main structure here.
Yeah.
For kind of obvious reasons. This is without a doubt 100% my most iconic photo. Like, this is the one that I'm known for. But it's interesting to me that they printed it this big, and they could print it this big because of the way I shot it. Now, I've explained this many times before, but this is not just one photo, it's 25 photos stitched together. And I shot it on my Canon 1DX Mark II, I think, with a 135mm f2 lens. And I locked the focus at I locked the focus, and then I locked the aperture at f2.5, if I'm not mistaken. And I just did a bunch of stitch shots, but it's the way it came out. My buddy Brandon Cotto is here. I left him in there because I didn't want to Photoshop him out. I wanted to show what it was like, true to form, on that day when Ken did this historic stunt. But it's cool. I always thought it was funny that the power plugs were wrapped too. You guys are, it's just so funny. Like, it's camouflage power plugs just to not ruin the image. But I mean, it's so sharp. Look, like, I'm so close to it. And I mean, look how big my hand is. Love this photo. I think it is my greatest photo, and it probably will stay my greatest photo for forever. Couple other cool things here. World RX trophies.
Oh, you can kind of see some of this whenever he did Felipe Pantone stuff.
Oh yeah.
And he's got like the same kind of kit where he's got like the fire extinguisher and the gas tank that also matched the hood and the rest of the livery.
America juice only. That's awesome. Yeah, a lot of these things I've just never seen before. This is really cool. Ken Block channel for passing 1 million subscribers. Golden play button.
That's so cool.
That's awesome. This is great. See you in hell. Look at this. Round 5, Norway in hell. First place. I always thought this was really neat. This intake. I think this is the actual one that was used on the Gymkhana 7 Hoonigan. This is when it was still naturally aspirated. It just made for a really interesting, iconic look on that Mustang before it got twin turbos.
Do you remember when like 800 horsepower seemed like a lot?
Oh my God.
Right?
It was like ignorant.
Yeah.
Like, it was that much power. And the way that we explained it when I photographed it on the streets of LA, it was just, there's no other way to explain it than it just being wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's like a visceral experience.
It was an all-wheel drive monster, and at the time there was nothing in the world like it, and it would just destroy tires, and it, from what we could tell, it almost felt like it was uncontrollable.
Seriously. And then they almost doubled the horsepower, which is so crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, it took quite a while for them to do that. There was so much development to get to that point.
Yeah, totally.
To make it reliable. But yeah, I mean, they eventually did it. We spent
So cool.
12 shooting days up on top of Pikes Peak to film Gymkhana. Cool little board here. This is something our buddy Mitch Snow made at this illustration. I shot this from, I think, 16 Mile area down. And you can see like this cloud of smoke that Ken made in this corner that just drifted away this way. And he just keeps going. This is super cool. I don't even know if this is real.
I thought it was. I thought they gave it to him.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so cool. That's the actual sign.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So,
Pike National Forest.
what was Jeff Zord's like? What was his contribution?
He was like essentially the director because he knew the mountain so well. He knew
Makes sense.
what shots to
Focus on.
to really showcase the mountain.
He'd seen all the angles for 30 years or whatever. So
yeah, we have to stop at this. This is the iconic jacket that he wore in Gymkhana 7, and
show him the back.
the back is where it's the most iconic. Like I seriously, legit have chills just carrying this thing. I have so many historic photos of him wearing this. Very iconic jacket. It's incredible that it's in this condition here. I love these so much. So these are all the e-brakes or handbrakes that they use for a lot of the cars. I'm assuming that that's probably a prototype, and some of them have been used. Another helmet, shoes. This is, I think, one of my favorite sections, though. Every time I come here, I have to spend a lot of time to grab photos and just see all the fun memorabilia. I think my favorite thing is the nesting dolls.
Yeah.
What the heck? It's just so weird looking.
Yeah.
But it's so funny that, I mean, it's obviously him, but look at his neck. Why is the neck like that?
Well, this is cool.
What's
So
that?
that's Kazi V1, right?
Yeah.
But they took flakes out of the actual car and ground it up. Like they took metal from the car, ground it up, and they sprayed it onto the can. So this flake right there is the actual car.
Well, 1 out of 10. So who has the other 9?
That's a great question.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. I like things like that.
Yeah. So many different caps and also shoes from different eras. Like, look at this stuff. Lego. That's really cool. This thing is super faded. Oh no, the hat broke off. You guys have to glue that back on.
Did it break?
Yeah. Poor little hat. A little paper chem block. This is cool. All of the RC cars, a lot of them HPI, some of them other brand. It's interesting because look how many times they've been repositioned or taken off for cleaning, because these are the marks that the tires leave on this shelf. So obviously they've been displayed here for many years. Yeah. These are Xboxes that are painted different liveries.
Which I think, I want to say Xbox sent them to him.
Yeah, it looks
Because like
pretty
even
official.
this one, it's legit. Like,
oh yeah. Oh, that's super cool. Oh, that's an Xbox?
yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't even know what that was. I thought it was like a alcohol container or something, you know?
Yeah, it does look
like a
like that.
fancy limited edition alcohol. So this is probably one of the more weirder shoots I had to shoot with Ken. I did a bunch of shoots for Saks Underwear with Ken.
Was he in his underwear?
Well, yes, but he was kickboxing.
Oh, okay.
You know, and so he was wearing that underwear, and it was very weird, but it was fun. And part of it is what he told me is like, look, if somebody has to shoot me kickboxing and doing underwear model stuff, might as well be you. So I did it. A couple other hats, video games. Oh, baseball bat. I didn't even notice that. 1/43rd scale models. Just so many little different pieces of memorabilia. HPI RC car. Love those.
It's cool. You got some unopened Mountain Lab DVDs, which this was like super iconic
Let me see.
for snowboarders.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
From the DC days.
DC days. Like this is one of the things that set it off. Like like you see all this here, And this was like the first thing that Ken really did, where it was like, oh, I'm going to take a space and make it something crazy.
Yeah.
Mountain Lab, man.
So these are interesting, and I know the story about these because Ron Zaras has told me he has one of these. It's the only DC shoe that is FIA certified.
Oh, that's cool.
Like as a race shoe.
Yeah.
And they're fireproof, and so that way Ken can use those to race and still wear DC shoes, and they look like
Normal shoes.
normal shoes. They don't look like race shoes. But I thought these are really, really cool. And then these are the breast cancer awareness ones.
And the ones down at the bottom, I'm guessing they were all from different Gymkhanas, because
Yeah.
that one's Gym 8, right?
Right. So these are all race worn or film worn. I remember at one point they had to paint these a different color for whatever reason. I don't know why. I remember I had to do some close-ups of his feet
Interesting.
while he was wearing it, and then it started wearing off, and they used like a Sharpie to fill it in.
Weird.
But yeah, Gymkhana 8, we were in Dubai for these, or for this shoot. It's interesting to me, like which ones they chose to keep and display.
Right.
That's so, it's just cool to see also the evolution of these. Like everything has purpose and everything has a story. Like I love these too. I think these are probably from Gymkhana 4 era.
Yeah, it looks like it with the Hug G.
Really, really cool. Kids' shoes. So many different pieces of memorabilia. Look at this hat.
It's crazy. I can't even plan my life to this much detail, or my day. Like it's one single
Right.
day, and he planned his whole life around it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is everything was important, and I felt that, you know. And this is something that I've said time and time again. There was me going out as a photographer, as a creative, pushing
yeah,
to create good photos, and then there was me shooting for Ken on the set of Gymkhana or any project that he was on. That was a different level of pushing.
seriously.
The level of pushing was sacrificing sleep, sacrificing health, sacrificing everything to make sure we got the best stuff, world class, as best as we can do
Yeah.
in terms of doing what Ken's doing behind the wheel justice, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And you always walked away feeling like you did fulfill your purpose. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like you never felt like on other shoots with other stuff. Like sometimes you're like, oh well, it ended up okay. But like whenever you're with Ken, you always walked away with something good, and you're like, that's exactly the feeling that I want.
Yeah. This is cool. This is something that Rob Dyrdek drove on Gymkhana 10 in Los Angeles. I have a lot of shots of this with Rob in it, but it's just this go-kart, I guess, with this fiberglass body that resembles the Escort. Really neat.
Yeah, and Ken took off his tires and was doing donuts around him with no tires on,
Yeah.
just sparks.
Yeah.
So cool.
This is a more recent project, right?
Yeah, that happened like 2021 or something.
Right,
It was
yeah.
some sort of, it was his take on the weird bear
Right.
wheels from VW or whatever.
Yeah. Very iconic snap-on toolbox.
So cool.
This is cool. This poster was created from a lot of my photos stitched together. Like War of the Worlds, the main photo of the car got cut out. A lot of these elements, including the dancers, like I just recognize a lot of the photos. They just kind of pieced it together because they wanted to make it look like a Hollywood movie ad. But this was also interesting in that it was the first time my photos were used in this sort of capacity in the video, but also to promote this Gymkhana. One thing I wanted to point out, as we talked about before we started filming, everything was important, and there was just so much forethought and foresight into everything, including just the bathroom signage. Like that's the female and that's the male. How cool is that? It's just so so much. This stuff is new. I know this is a tribute to Ken. What was this project?
Oh, this is Alpine Stars were nice enough. They did this for Supercross in 2023. But yeah, Alpine Stars made these, and then each of their pro riders rode this or wore these during Supercross, and afterwards donated it over to the box, which is super cool of them.
Yeah.
You can see like the different
cool.
liveries they copied, and the Felipe Pantone. They got It's a Living over here.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting because Ken always partnered up with these artists that inspired him, and then it like worked. This honestly was probably one of the hardest to photograph because everything looked out of focus.
Yeah, seriously.
You know? I don't know if you remember, like looking at all my photos, I was like, oh man, it's out of focus. But when you look closer, it's actually just like this color shift.
Dude, even looking at the art on the walls, it kind of like trips your eyes out a little bit.
So one thing I wanted to point out, like this is just a normal scene from, I'm assuming, it was WRC. It was Rally Australia where this was taken, but the fanfare around Ken, wherever he went, it was so insane. Whenever Ken sometimes Ken would hand a signed poster, and depending on how crazy the crowd was, everybody would just start grabbing at the poster, and it would just get shredded into 5-6 different pieces. And these individuals were just happy to get a piece of a paper that Ken touched, which doesn't make any sense to me. Like, there was just no order. It was insane.
Dude, it's nuts.
It was so crazy. And I mean, that's just like the fanfare surrounding
I can't
this
imagine.
individual.
It's interesting because we got to work with the guy that these people loved so much.
Another great wall of memorabilia. Gymkhana 5, what I've said many times is one of my greatest regrets not going to this. I was offered to shoot Gymkhana 5, but unfortunately, I've told this story before, but it was my first time being the Formula Drift official photographer, and I just could not, in my mind, miss a round that I just picked up this gig, and obviously it's a long-term gig. I'm still doing it as the official photographer. So yeah, I had to tell the guys no. I was even considering flying in for one day and shooting one day and then flying directly to Formula Drift. And then I just kind of talked myself out of it. This is a very, very famous wall. This is the Ain't Care wall. And I know this has inspired a lot of other people, but for me, it's special because I was there when a lot of these parts were damaged. So like, for example, I'm assuming this is from Barbados, from when he flipped the car. And I know this was from Randy's Donuts when he was doing Gymkhana 7 in the Hoonigan, when he went from I think he hopped the curb and it just twisted the drive shaft. Like, look at this mangled door. Oh my God. This looks like the Incredible Hulk just like crumpled it. That's crazy. Some of the more recent stuff, this versus that, Hoonigan versus the world, this was a lot of fun for us to shoot. But it got to the point where it's like Hoonigan versus my uncle walking, you know, because they were racing it against everything, you know. This is a really nice, huge model of the Hoonigan. That is really cool.
This is now an office in here, just like for Lucy's assistant. Mm-hmm. But it used to be where all of Ken's memorabilia stuff was, like the really nice stuff they didn't want out there. And maybe we'll like take a look at that stuff in a little bit.
Where is that stuff?
It's just in the other room.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we've moved that a bit just so we have office space, but.
You know, it's funny to me because however many times I've been here, I've never actually seen Ken in his office.
Right?
Like, I don't know if he has had any computer time here.
Yeah, he's always too busy.
Yeah, busy guy. Look at all this stuff. Oh, cool. This is really neat. This is really cool. A lot of neat pieces of memorabilia.
So many cool things.
Whoa. Actual race suits. Just gotta take a moment to really take it in. Wait, so this was the office?
Yeah, just that little spot right there. Hey, the desk used to be sideways.
Right, I remember.
And then now they've got this sick racing sim.
Oh, this is new.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they had something similar before.
Has Leah been training on this?
I think she trains a lot, but Micah especially trains
is
a
training
ton on this thing.
Nice.
So, yeah, I think the only time I ever saw Ken up here was we filmed some interview stuff with him, like right here. But other than that, he was always just out and about, going
Makes
constantly.
sense. The glass is crazy. Look at that. It being all etched.
It's crazy too. He didn't just have his, we know him from motorsports, of course, but he had his hand in even in the 90s, Drawers Clothing, being a part of this fashion scene back then, and then being a huge part of skateboarding with the DC video and crap like that, and snowboarding with Mountain Lab. He had his hands in so many different areas that it's crazy to try to quantify the kind of impact he had on the world.
Yeah. It really is crazy.
Some really cool art.
Random shoes just on the ground. Should we check out the shop area?
Yeah, let's do it.
This sign always gave me a kick. I love that. No unauthorized entry, photography, videography.
Which is funny because you can't even really get into this building without being authorized, so.
Yeah. So let's talk about what you're doing right now for 43 Institute.
Yeah. So a large portion of what I do is going out and shooting, out at the ranch, or whenever we go to different race events and stuff like that. Sometimes it's just cheaper to hire other people, and then in that case they'll send the footage to me, and then I create content for it.
What is 43i for people who don't know?
So 43i is the 43 Institute, just basically the institute that is dedicated to keeping Ken's memory alive. And a big part of what we do is try to bring awareness for helmet safety and things like that. We have a program we call the Brain Bucket program. We basically give away helmets with different partners in order to help kids that don't have the money to buy nice helmets be able to, succeed in action sports. And that's kind of the base layer, and then the rest of it is just really trying to help people out there who give everyone a boost so that everyone can experience motorsports the way we have.
Right, and part of it is helping kids, especially who may not have the financial backing to get into action sports.
Because it's freaking expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive. So we did a fun auction last year with Bring a Trailer and our friends from Pennzoil, where I auctioned myself off for a day for an 8-hour photo shoot. And man, I don't remember exactly how much it went for, but over $70,000.
Yeah. Which is insane.
Which is crazy. And everything, all the proceeds went to 43 Institute.
Yep.
So.
And then the proceeds, they bought helmets for kids. They bought, we also do something called the Flat Out Forever Award at different American Association rallies, where they give $1,430 to each member on a team. So just whoever kind of uplifted the spirits like Ken would at that particular rally wins that award, which is cool. That money paid for stuff.
So let's talk about some of the vehicles that are still here. So one of the last times I had a chance to photograph Ken behind the wheel was when he was out driving the Hyundai, and then Lucy was driving this. That's Leah's project car?
Yeah, Leah's Audi.
Yeah.
So this was, whenever they did Kazi V1, they had this, which wasn't the highest trim of the Kazi. And so they painted this just as a test to see, Ken could get an idea of what it would look like with the paint sprayed on and stuff. But right now we're trying to get this running and then potentially do some cool plans with that are under wraps.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened here? Look at it. It might need some help.
Hey, it's a work in progress.
Yeah. This is cool. This is Ken's street car. Talk about an insane Audi Quattro street car. If this is Gym 1, then this is the one I lined up against in my 1972 40Z
Oh yeah.
at American Gymkhana
Yeah,
at
you-
El Toro Air Force Base.
I remember reading that
Yeah.
story, like that post about that.
Yeah, I cut the light trying to beat Ken, but I had 143 horsepower, so yeah.
And that was before Gymkhana videos were even a thing, right?
Yeah, that was around the time he was testing this
Yeah.
to do it at El Toro Air Force Base,
Yeah. Okay.
which is where Gymkhana 1 took place, but also where American Gymkhana happened.
that makes sense.
Can we uncover it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Buddy,
Oh yeah.
this is the one. There's only gonna be one like it forever.
The whole thing?
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
let's show everybody.
Look
It's
at that.
so crazy to me that this was never meant to be what it became, you know, in that it never was meant to be a race car or a car that was going fast. It was always just meant for a filming car.
Yeah.
It was built for Gymkhana, for sliding around. But it turned out, after all this development, after all this time, it's such a quick car. Like, you could tell that it's not for flat out speed, especially because of how much, like, for example, the hood and everything is moving at the top of, you know, the drag strip, or at the airstrip at least.
So iconic, man. Like every time this comes out, you're just like, you just have to take it in.
First time I had a chance to see the Hoonigan was the day before we filmed Gymkhana 7, and most of the livery wasn't on it. I think there was still parts of the vehicle that weren't on it yet, and I think it hasn't really had a chance to run with the vehicle or all the body panels on it. I know they had a chance to test it as a naked car, and that became a pin, a Lean Customs pin. But when I saw it, they were still just scrambling the night before in LA at the first ever Hoonigan donut yard or donut garage, putting it together, like piece by piece. It was insane.
Dude, that's crazy.
It was so crazy. I think Hertz RX-7 was there. It was just so, and then me laying eyes on it for the first time, I was just so blown away. I couldn't believe it. So much of this was built by RTR, Vaughn Gittin Jr.'s company, and since then, you know, the RTR badge has always been on it. Just such a historic car, and it's just amazing the evolution that it's taken to get to this point.
Dude, and there's not really a car like it where you just, like, you stand next to it and they rev it up and it freaking shakes your soul.
I know. Yeah, well, and also makes you cry because it runs on methanol, you know? Yeah. A lot of Can-Ams.
Yeah, Can-Am's been a good sponsor to the blocks. So.
Yeah. A lot of big artwork hanging around here. I've seen a lot of the evolution of this space, including this workshop area. It's always cool to see, especially when there's like a livery launch. We did so many livery launches here because it just made a lot of sense in terms of just getting like a preview on the car before it went out in public. This bear always freaked me out. This was upstairs at Ken's office for the longest time. I don't even know why this is here. This punching bag was used on Electricana. I know I got a couple good shots of Ali's grandson, Muhammad Ali's grandson.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, using this punching bag in Vegas as.
Oh, that's
Ken,
who that was.
Yeah, as Ken was drifting around him.
That's some really cool stuff. It's cool. Also, these wheels. Right now, we've got that door locked and closed. It's just kind of storage for a bit.
There's no cars in there?
There's probably some stuff, but nothing special. You know what I mean?
Got it.
But they've moved some of the wheels. These are like wheels from different eras
Yeah.
of his motorsports career. So we've got like all these different wheels that are.
What are you guys gonna do with all these wheels?
I think some of them. I mean, some of them we'll keep just for memorabilia stuff, but some of them will probably go up on eBay so that they can be shared with the world. So it's cool to see all of them though, and to like get thrown right back into when they were used, right?
Yeah. That's crazy. Like, I remember the day when they were doing this, and Ken couldn't stop for the life of him with these wheels.
Oh, really?
On the Cosworth. Oh my God. It would be like, okay, he gets on the brakes, and at 5 miles an hour, it would still just be sliding. And I know they did everything they could, including welding little nubs and all this stuff just to get it a little more traction on the ground. But it was very, very difficult. And I think he crashed into a couple poles at like 1 mile an hour because of that. But this is very, very historic wheels.
Interesting.
It's crazy.
I
Look
had
how
not
many
heard that
wheels.
one.
So many wheels. And this is Leah's rally car
Yep.
in partial
2021 rally.
disassembly. Probably needs to
sorry.
be refreshed. Crazy, I forget that it's a full-on shop here, and a lot of actual work took place here. What's this stuff?
It says Gym 3 on here, but I'm pretty sure this is from his WRC days. Just some more parts like on the ink care wall.
Whoa.
Just bumpers and things like that. It's funny kind of stuff that he kept. He's like, never knew exactly what he was going to do with it, but then ended up finding a place for everything, right?
Yeah, spares. That's crazy. It really is insane to me that this place is just stuck in time. It's just so crazy. I don't really know. I didn't really know what to expect. Obviously, some things have changed, but it's really good for me to have a reminder of all the awesome projects, all the amazing times that he's provided for all of us. It really is incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Think of the jump starts our careers have had because of him.
Yeah.
So many people's.
So many people.